Right, so we've got an ECA Proteus Premix 35 kilowatt. Been having some issues with the heating side. Don't know if you can hear that noise, but it's coming from the diverter motor, and if I basically push that down, that stops the noise. If I let go of it, it's not making it now, but yeah, that's a bit wobbly on there. So I've got a new diverter motor, so we're gonna swap it over and give it another test. Right, so put a hot water demand on. I can feel the diverter motor moving over. That's firing up. There we go. It's firing up for hot water fine. Turn that off. Demand goes off. And let's turn the temperature up on there. That clicks on. Wait for the boiler to get the demand. There you go, I can feel the diverter vibrating. Boiler's going straight to ignition. And yeah, flow pipe's getting hot straight away. Just do that back up on there. Heating has been running for a bit, so there is already heat on the return, but yeah, that's doing what it's supposed to do now. It's cooling down as well, which means that it's allowing the cooler water in the system to circulate back and cooling the boiler down, because that's currently set to 65. So obviously it doesn't need to go into high flame, it's just going to stay at a low modulated flame and try and maintain that temperature. Right, today's next job is working on this beast, Vaillant 937. I've got the shunt pump to do at the back, the hot water pump. So I've got all the bits here. I've got the mini expansion vessel for the top. I've got the shunt pump there as well. Luckily, where I'm working is like an outbuilding, so I've got lots of space around the boiler. So I watched Ollie's video, Heating Geeks. He's done quite a comprehensive video on how to do this, so I'm hoping I can follow that. There seems to be quite a lot of space around there where I can work, so hopefully I should just be able to drop it out once I've undone the necessary connections. But I'm literally going to take this step by step, one nut, one bolt, one screw at a time, and then just get the old one out and then replace the new one in reverse. But let's start by firstly, yeah, see, look, we've got the F91, F81. So turn that off, which is the power to the boiler. Yep, nest has gone off, so that's the power to the boiler. Right, now first thing I've got to do is turn off the incoming cold. This is a drain for the hot water tank, so there's 15 litres of water in those tanks. So my folding bucket is a 20 litre capacity, so first thing I've got to do is make sure that gets 3/4 of the way full, so that I know that I've drained the tanks out. So let's start by doing that first. Right, we're winning. I've heard of these tanks getting airlocked, so I managed to crack that. First it didn't really start dribbling, but then open that air vent, and I've also got the hot tap open inside the kitchen. So now that's a 20 litre folding bucket. These tanks hold 15 litres, so I've just got to wait for this to be 3/4 of the way full, and yeah, that's gushing out nicely. So I'm just going to wait for that to empty, and then I can start working on the rest of it, try and figure out what connections I need to start undoing. Oh, that's getting quite close, so I'm hoping that it stops before it reaches. If not, obviously I can just try and chuck some of it down here or put it into a plumb tub temporarily. Hopefully that should slow down. Right, it's just about stopped. You can hear there's gurgling ever so slightly, which is fine. But yeah, it's not really filling up much more. So yeah, that's a good way. 20 litre bucket, fills it up there or thereabouts. That's when you know that the tanks are fully empty. So now I need to refer back to Ollie's video, but I believe he took off this screw to undo that nut from there to move this pipe out of the way to be able to get to the pump. And there's some clips. I'm gonna have another quick watch of his video, and then I see what else I need to do. I think someone said I might have to actually remove that return pipe or the return connection. I'm hoping I don't have to, because right now I haven't had to touch the heating side, but hopefully I can work from it just from here. Okay, so first thing we need to do is undo these two screws here. Now this pipe usually sort of sits in the way of it. So this is your hot water, well, it's your cold going in, and I believe that is the hot, well, that's the hot connection, but that's still hot water coming out there. That's feeding the tanks, I believe. So undo that connection there, undo the connection there, move this pipe out of the way. You will get a bit of water coming out of it, but then once you move it out of the way, along with the condense stripe, you've now got access to these two screws, which is a bracket that's holding that in at the back there. Okay, so I've undone the little bracket there. Need to remove that clip, and there's another clip which I don't know if I'll be able to see it from here. No, but you can. It's basically, you've got a clip there and you've got a clip right at the back, like up there. But from what I've seen, if I undo this clip, it will allow the pump to sort of drop down once I move this pipe out of the way, and then I should be able to wiggle it out. So let's give it a go. Success. So got, well, there was that clip which was in with, let me see if I can find that pipe. You're not going to really be able to see it. Can I see it from here? Not really. There, that pipe, which is sort of tucked behind here. So once you pull that clip out, you can move that pipe out the way. This whole pump just sort of then falls out. But you just got to remember the way that this pipe sits in there. And the one thing I'm not sure about yet is how to undo the electrical connection. So that's going to be the next thing I look at. But so far, we are winning. Right. Tracing these cables. So found one of them goes round the back. When I pull on it, you can see it there. So you've got a connector there. And the other one, when I pull it, it actually goes round the back of here, comes here, and then it goes into the PCB from there. So I need to figure out how, if that's just going for the grommet, if that grommet splits. There's a pin there. Oh, that one looks like it might be a bit tricky to do. But the main thing is I've got the pump out. That's that connection piece that goes in from the back. So that goes in there and then goes around. You've got your non-return valve in there, so you need to make sure that's not shattered. Yeah, I'm just going to try and figure out the wiring, how to do with this cable. Then it should be all right. Right, so I've traced that cable that comes out of there, and that goes into X12 here, so I'll disconnect that. take that out from there. Now this splits, I believe, because you've got another connection here, which is X20, I believe, here. So this connection splits, and then I can take the cable out, feed it through, and then yeah, put this clip back together, and that holds it back again. So I'm just going to get that done. Right, so where I've just removed that split pin there, I don't need to touch this X20 cable because that's on its own separate grommet there. That's on its own separate grommet, so that I can just feed through. And I think there's another little split pin connection underneath there. Let me see if I can show you guys. Yeah, there. So I should be able to undo that split pin, separate that, pull the pump cable out, and then feed the new one through. Okay, so what I've done is where we're replacing the cable, just snipped it. So it's easier to pull it out from this side. So then one of these cables should now be free, which I'm gonna take a guess is this one. Yep. I just gotta make sure, yeah, see, it's this bit which is getting caught everywhere. So if I just snip that off there as well, now I should be able to pull that one out. There we go. Right, that's our X12 connection out. Now this one is just on that little Molex connection, which let's see if I can get it in focus. It's basically, it sits just behind here, there. So I need to undo that. So I'm gonna get that undone and then come back to this. And there we have it. One shunt pump removed. Now the fun part of putting the new one in. Right, when putting these back in and putting the clips through, make sure that you push the pipe all the way home, because you'll be able to get the clip through, but sometimes it won't go through. You should be able to see the clip going over each side of the pipe. Give it a proper tug as well. That will tell you that if it's gone in properly or not. So now I've made that up. That will basically just go in like that. But I've got to feed the cables through first, so let's get that done first. Alright, so before I fed the cables in, because the pump kept dropping and kept pulling the cables, I've decided let me get the pump in first. So obviously I've made that pipe up onto it already, so that wasn't too bad. But getting that connection back on was a little bit tricky. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see from here, but I can see from here that that split pin has passed. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Where's my finger? Where's my finger? Finger is behind there. Yeah, you're not going to really be able to see it, but there we go. There, right there. Can you see? The split pin has gone around the copper pipe. That means that it's gone fully home. So at least now we know that connection part is secure. Now I can try and feed the cables through and get it all connected. So obviously this is all new to me, it's the first time I'm doing it. So when putting this bracket back, that bracket determines where that pipe sits coming out of there, and also determines how, because right now that's still loose because obviously it's just held on by two clips and an O-ring. So that needs to go into those grooves. That will then push that forward once it goes into there, and then this connection piece will go around, connect onto there, and one onto that side. Right, all the connections are done. Cold water's done. That's done there. Just got to put the condense trap back, and I've got to do that vessel at the top there. So I'm going to quickly do that before I start filling up. Just to note on this, so this pipe will slide back and forth. So at first I was thinking I couldn't get this onto the thread because the thread was too far back, and I was thinking I've done something wrong, but no, this pipe here will slide back and forth. So if you pull it back, it will then pull the pipe that's sticking out there closer to the thread. You can slip your little 1/2 inch fibre washer in and tighten that up, and obviously change the fibre washer in there as well. So we don't want any leaks at the end of this. But yeah, I think once I've done that vessel, I am all ready to go. So look, yeah, that clip is in. You can't see the other clip from here at the moment, but yeah, it's not actually too bad a job, to be fair. But yeah, I'm not going to speak too soon. Right, vessel is at the top of the boiler at the back. It actually looks pretty easy to change. There was one screw in here which I've taken out there. That lifts open. Just tip that there, and then it looks like there's just one nut there that comes out, and pop the new one in. There we go. That's the old vessel. That's the new one. It's all tightened up. Do you know what? I'm going to leave that open for a minute, because when I start filling up, I'm just going to come up here and check that there's no leaks. So now, should, in theory, right, let's open this slowly. I'm just going to let it go like that first, let it fill up, and then we'll test it all. Okay, so it sounds like it's stopped filling. Let's open that up fully. Nothing leaking. Oh, who's calling me now? 1 second. Right, so yeah, that's all full. There's no leaks coming from there. Oh, let me just pop my head up, check that vessel. Oh. Make sure, yeah, that connection is all nice and dry. So now I can pop that closed. So just slide in there. Come on, Chigs, get it bloody straight. It's always like the little easy things that. Right. In there, screw in there. Let's just get that done quickly. Right, tissue, spanners. Oh, drop down here. Power it on. That's always a good sign. Actually comes on. Right, obviously it's calling for heat at the moment, and this thing is preheat, which means it's going to heat up the tanks at the back first, and then yeah, I'm going to run a hot tap, check the flow rate, D36, make sure we've got a good flow rate, and then yeah, we should be good to go. There we go, the Vaillant 937 shunt pump. First time doing it, not such a bad job. But I was lucky, I had loads of clearances here. Obviously, if I didn't have the space, then it'd be a different story. But yeah, not a bad job. Not as bad as I thought it would be. Right, got a hot tap running. It's giving us 11.2 litres a minute. I can feel the shunt pump running as well. Lovely hot water coming out of there. Obviously there's still a little bit of air in there, so that's going to spit itself out, and then you'll have a nice steady stream of water Lovely, lovely, lovely. Next job, we have a leaking E168. Ooh. Do you guys know what that is? I'll give you one clue. You won't find it in the MIs or the fault finding section. PCB. But I was sent a video earlier that there was a drip coming from it, so I need to find where this leak is coming from. Most likely that water might have gotten to the board potentially, and that's what's brought up the E168 error code. But let's get the case off and have a look inside. Okay, so I've just taken the combustion chamber off. Now I've been to this boiler before, and see the screw on the sight glass, or I think it was the sight glass or the electrodes that was missing, and it basically, all the heat had got out here and melted, basically the main heat exchanger and everything. So it's had a rebuild, but I've opened it, I can see there's water inside here, but we haven't lost pressure. And on close inspection, there's a bit of water coming out that flue duct just up there. So my guess is blocked trap. Where's that going to? That's going to the outside. So let's have a look, see where that's going. That's going down into here. So I don't know if there's a blockage there, inside there, or if it's inside the trap itself. But yeah, I'm just gonna disconnect it and see if it all gurgles out. If it does, then at least we know where the blockage potentially is, and then we can see what we can do about this E168 error. Okay, so I've just disconnected the condense hose, nothing coming out of there. Let me disconnect the trap. I hate these traps, it's in such an awkward place, and see if that lets anything through. I mean, the other thing I could potentially try, I don't remember doing it, is if I could try and lift this up, that would tell me if, I mean, I definitely think it's coming from there, because you can even see, let's see if I put my hand there, that's all wet. So there's definitely been some sort of issue with the sump or the condense trap, but it might be a blockage in the trap itself. So I'm going to see if I can undo that nut from the bottom and see if anything comes out. Right, good thing is I'm working like a disused outside toilet. That's 2 boilers in a row that I've had working out buildings, so should just be able to undo this and just let it empty out into this quite conveniently placed mop bucket. Let's see how much water comes out of there. We'll know, literally. Right, here we go, bombs away. There's a bit of shit in there. Oh, don't wanna lose that O-ring. Where's that gone? There it is. Let's have a look up there. There's a bit of shit in there. I don't really want to get my camera lens too dirty. There's a bit of shit there, but nothing major. I'll stick my screwdriver up in there, give it a clean out, and then see if I can get the boiler to restart. Right, let's give that a reset. Okay, I'm going to tell them to turn the heating on and see what it does. Right, tenant's just going to go flick the heating on, so we're waiting for heating demand light. Yes, come on. It's getting a bit cold here now as well, so the sooner the heating comes on, the better. Come on. I'll come back to this once she flicks it on. Right, it's got a demand now. Let's see what it does. It's just the fan spinning. Pump's not even coming on yet. It's gone straight back to E168. Right, I can't really check anything else at the moment until that sorts itself out. Let's see if I can get it to fire up in service mode at least. No, again, nothing on the pump. Nothing on the pump. It's just fan shouldn't have been going yet. It should be pump first and then fan. And that will probably go back to E168 in a minute. Just going to see if I've got power to the pump. Yeah, that's gone back to E168. Alright, let's reset that. So with the demand, so we've got power there. Right, now the pump's spinning. Okay, we have flame. So at least we've got up and running. So it still definitely needs a PCV, but what I want to try and see is where this leak is coming from now. I definitely think it's the sump, but I need to find out exactly where drip is coming from. So let me do a bit of investigation and see what I find. Right, I think I've found where this leak is coming from. So if I just put my mirror up to the inner turret, there's a little bit of steam. When I put my analyzer probe up there as well, I wasn't picking up any ppm, but the O2 percentage dropped to like 20.29%. So I'm suspecting it's going to be a problem with the turret seal, potentially the actual flue itself. So we're getting condensate obviously dripping back down onto here and collecting there, because I mean the pressure's still held. So there's nothing leaking in terms of system side. It's that flue. So there's going to need a new top seal there, and most likely probably going to need a new flue altogether, I reckon. Oh god, the joys. Oh, and a new PCV. You can see that's on the, just checking the air intake. And we're already below 20.6, which is what we should be at the bare minimum. So it's dropping even more. Now my experience with these older flues, they tend to split in the middle, and that causes products of combustion to come back in. Obviously we're not getting any CO through at the moment, so we're kind of on the edge at the moment. So this is still going to be at risk, because obviously it's below 20.6, and the combustion seal is all fine, so nothing's escaping out the boiler if there was any CO. But yeah, I reckon it's going to be a problem with that flue and that top seal, so I'm going to get that booked in to get that sorted out. Hopefully that should sort the leak, and then yeah, we need to obviously get this PCV sorted as well. Right, this is meant to be the last job, just to take this radiator off, because it's come away from the brackets and it's been propped up by a box. So I went to isolate that. Whole bloody lock shield head just popped out. Luckily, pressurized system. So got the tenant to lock off the boiler, which is luckily just there. Put my hand on there quick time, and then got the oil wet back out, taking the pressure off. Gonna put a new 3/4 inch lock shield on that. Then we'll drain this out and move it away. They're gonna reinforce behind this wall. Once that's been reinforced, then I'll come back to rehang this radiator. boiler's back up to pressure, heating's on, radiator's off, changed the lock shield on that one and capped it. TRV's capped on that. So once this has been reinforced, I'll come back and rehang that same radiator again, so don't need to change any of the tails or anything like that. Yeah, so much for a nice easy last job. Just got completely drenched from that one valve.